ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to beautiful London, Ontario for tonight's CIS women's basketball action, featuring the #1 nationally ranked Windsor Lancers in to face the hometown and #5 nationally ranked Western Mustangs. My name is Kevin Gordon, bringing you this OUA West women's basketball contest. Should be a beauty as both teams open up the division portion of their schedules this season. What a game we do have in store. Muddy Hutzler in to tip things off against Raylyn Prince. Windsor controlling the opening tip-off in what is sure to be one of the single most watched games of the season. Good crowd on hand here at Alumni Hall, as one would expect, as a long two off the hop, buried right there. Number 10, Mia Marie Langlois, opening the scoring, second-year player out of Windsor. Gets things going. Windsor picking up token presence in the full court. Jenny Vaughn, point guard for the Mustangs, initiating the offense. Molden, Self, Hutzler, and Daly on the court with Vaughn. Here is left side attack, no good from Molden. Molden looking to be aggressive offensively tonight, as her presence must be established. Long known as a defensive stalwart for these Mustangs. Terrific footwork and speed. Her offensive contributions will be needed in this tilt that is going to be certainly watched by many observers of OUA and CIS women's basketball to get a good measuring stick of both teams. There's a steal early on by Hutzler, pushing up the sideline to Daly. Daly looking left side attack as the Mustangs twice going to that left side. Molden working in against Abbott. Terrific ball rotation early on. Rejecting the screen is Vaughn. Good ball rotation. Over to Self. Wide open. Look for three. Buries it. Jacqueline Self. A little bit of misdo everything for the Western Mustangs, as she is counted upon to play that 3-4 role for these Mustangs. There's a steal right there. Jenny Vaughn taking it away from Abbott. Vaughn, Mustangs with numbers. Hutzler left side, no good. Perhaps expecting the contact. Windsor gave her the chance at the freebie. Hutzler unable to put it down. Both teams coming off an impressive break in the schedule over the holiday shutdown in OUA West basketball. Terrific defense there from Hutzler on Abbott off of the switch. Rotation by the Lancers into their all-Canadian candidate, Jessica Clemenson. A second-year forward out of France, able to put one down, 4-3 in the early going for Windsor. Windsor 3-0 on their home court. Western 2-0 in the same tournament over the Christmas holidays. And both sharp as nails coming in here. Daly from the same spot. Self hit, no good. Self tips it out, keep it alive. Clemenson secures the loose ball. We will talk a lot about Jessica Clemenson tonight, the powerful forward. Another steal by the Mustangs. Molden showing herself defensively, working against Abbott. Unfortunately, saw somebody run and didn't realize she was wearing blue. That'll cost the Mustangs a turnover. Clemenson, last year's National Rookie of the Year for these Lancers, really presents matchup problems, as she is a very quick forward who is able to play with a guard skill set at times on the perimeter. Certainly someone that you will see Self and Hutzler taking turns against tonight. It is Hutzler watching her now on the perimeter as the screen and roll game is set. Long three ball there for Windsor. That's number 5, Bojana Kovacevic. No good there, and the ball corralled by Self. 3-on-2 opportunity for the Mustangs. But Self on the hesitation move called for palming the ball. Action should be fast and furious. You see Self giving herself just a moment to collect her thoughts to get back up as she went down hard. Might get a second look at that one. We will see possession here for the Lancers on the sideline, as Self certainly a little worse for wear coming into the game. Becky Williams, both teams going to their bench early and often. Both teams can run deep off the bench. It's up to the coaches as to how deep, how early, but you will see a number into this game before it is done. Front court entry for the Mustangs. Ball in the hands of number 14, Morgan Jean. Fourth-year player out of Sarnia. Jean spin move to the middle, left hand, no good. Hutzler keeps it alive off the backboard. Jean able to secure it. Windsor will reset, leading 4-3 with 3.5 minutes gone by here in the opening quarter. Prince in to set the screen, rejected, takes it hard, drops the shoulder, does Jean, no good. Williams with the loose ball. Moss finds herself in the corner, elects to penetrate. Molden, good stutter step. And Moss gets herself open at the top. Travel violation. You saw Clemenson flying at her. They are going to have to do that all night as Rebecca Moss, quite simply, one of the best three-point shooters in the country this year. She is counted on to bury those looks, finding arc shooting almost 50% on the year. 17 of 35 in only 8 games played this season. She is an absolute threat every time she is standing back there, and everybody in the country knows it. Steal there by Molden once again. Windsor simply giving up too many possessions to the Western Mustangs. Unfortunately, the Mustangs simply unable to capitalize on the offensive end. Vaughn, high post entry for Hutzler. She likes what she sees. She'll pull, and perhaps the nerves playing a bit of a role here at Alumni Hall, as we are seeing the Mustang offense really searching for some answers right now. An air ball from Hutzler right there, uncharacteristic, though she was not counted on to be an offensive force in her 4 years at SFU. Certainly coming in here with these Western Mustangs, averaging over 13 points a game this season. She knows what to do with the ball when it's in her hands, and that air ball there, more a reflection perhaps of the level of play in this game rather than her ability. Clemenson triple teamed on the post entry. Penetration, good job there. Caitlin Letty stepping in, taking one to the chest. Penetration provided there by Carissa Williams, a rookie out of Windsor. Took it hard, but Letty had that play read like a book. It is Moss, Molden, Vaughn, Letty, and Williams on the court. As you see here on the replay, Williams hard to the middle. Vaughn lets her go knowing that her teammate's going to be there to take the hit. And that's one of the things that Letty brings to this team, is a little bit of get after it defensively. You see turnover by the Mustangs. Pushing are the Lancers. Jean takes the ball in the corner. Ball rotation. Clemenson will lift from 3. Front iron, no good. Vaughn tracks down the loose ball, watches it go out of bounds. A turnover-filled contest here in the early going. As neither team able to secure the ball and get any continuity going offensively, as we are halfway through the opening stanza. This is the first of 2 meetings between these squads. Here, of course, tonight, number 1 versus number 5. The rematch will come shortly as Vaughn misses front iron. Rematch happening, of course, in Windsor, and that will take place on the 19th of January. So a mere 2 weeks away is the rematch between these 2 squads. And again, these games also important, as you see the 3-ball buried there by Langlois. These contests ever so important. They are tied atop the OUA West standings, both with identical 7-1 records on the season, and both seeking to cement their hold on that first place game, because of course with first place comes the right to host any playoff game come postseason time. 1 and 2 do get the byes in the OUA playoff structure, 1 reserving the right to host should they make it through to the championship. A lot of value in that 1 seed when you're talking about 2 of the best programs in the country. This is a That last play was an illegal screen called on Caitlin Letty as she's tried to set one in the high post. 7-3 the score here in the early goings. High post entry to Prince. Prince looking for Peklova, who's working against Moss inside. Bit of a mismatch there for the Lancers as Moss gives away a half dozen inches. Peklova gets her own rebound. Certainly a sizable lineup presented by these Windsor Lancers. And Abbott with the 3-ball, no good front iron as Daly rips the ball away. Vaughn pushing to Moss in the front court. Vaughn surveying the defense. Letty with the screen, getting the arms up, trying to control the man. Vaughn looking to create her own, gets in left side, no good. Letty mixing it up for the rebound. Langlois with control. Good dish to the corner, wide open look, feet set for Abbott. She knows what to do with that one. Found it. And the Mustangs in a big hole early. Abbott only averaging 3 points a game, so she has matched her season average right there. But when you are that wide open, feet set, it's easy to convert. Peklova able to get the turnover. Langlois working against Williams. Williams, a member of the OUA West All-Rookie team a year ago. She's a good one, but simply buried in numbers here on this University of Western Ontario bench, as they have one of the deeper rosters in the country, as evidenced by their number 5 ranking. Coach Steph Barry immediately getting to the bench, calling a timeout as he needs to stop the bleeding right here. And already you see Chantal Vallée, head coach of these number 1 Windsor Lancers, getting into the officials here, reminding them to wait a minute, he didn't have that timeout there in time. The coaching matchup certainly intriguing as we look at the standings and see that these two bench bosses have guided their teams atop the OUA West. There you see them in front of you through 8 games played, just a single loss each. A point system in effect in the OUA standings, 2 points for a win. Do the quick math, you can see that's 7 victories, 1 loss for each of these squads. And it was a loss to Toronto for the Windsor Lancers, a home loss for those Windsor Lancers that momentarily knocked them out of that number 1 rank in the country, which they quickly regained following some upsets in the West. And for the Western Mustangs, that loss came at the hands of the Carleton Ravens, a home loss as well. 2-point loss, 67-65, back on November the 19th. The only blemish on their record thus far this season. So we are talking about 2 of the better bench bosses in the game right now. Chantal Vallée, decorated in her short tenure at the University of Windsor, winning multiple Coach of the Year awards. Steph Barry, had he been in at a different time, perhaps we would see similar accolades on his resume given the work he's done with the program. However, when you're up against a coach the stature of Chantal Vallée, who's really established herself in her short tenure here in the CIS, coming over from the Canadian college ranks, certainly it makes for a lot of candidates and not enough hardware to go around. 12-3 here, 2:34 to play in the opening quarter. The Mustangs unable to find any answers offensively, as Jacqueline Self puts herself into the point forward role. It is Self, Moss, Hutzler, Vaughn, and Daly out on the court. Lots of shooters around the center. Clemenson getting ahead of the pack. Quick hands by Self, able to interrupt the layup attempt right there, as Windsor simply taking advantage of Mustang passes that have gone awry. Inbound opportunity with 19 seconds on the shot clock. Little cross and seal, simple inbounds play for the Lancers, able to maintain possession. Post entry for Clemenson. Double team comes, able to work away and reestablish herself. Lancers unable to work the ball into her. Left side attack there is number 5, Kovacevic, counted. And the 3rd-year forward from Windsor, Kovacevic, having herself a game already. Mustangs, Hutzler, nice cut on the baseline for Vaughn, and we have our second whistle here of the ball game. First on the Windsor Lancers. 2 shots coming here for Vaughn. Terrific backdoor penetration. You'll see Hutzler on the replay. She knew exactly what was happening with her teammate. A little look, did not even turn around to square to the net. Nice drop pass with her back to the basket, finding Vaughn on the backdoor cut. Terrific bit of basketball, and sometimes when things aren't working from the field, Coach Steph Barry, he knows, and I guarantee he told his players in the huddle, you got to find a way to earn your points in this one. Get yourself to the line, create some opportunities. You see that right there with Jenny Vaughn, transfer from the University of Denver, former junior national team product. Abbott now working against Daly, herself a national team member. Clemenson, offensive rebound inside, around 3 Mustangs, cannot convert. And here's Self breaking back for the Stangs. Moss on the wing, able to rotate to Daly. Daly looks middle. Terrific defense collapsing there by the Lancers, but too good is the pass. Daly and Hutzler playing over the top of these Lancers, something that won't happen all that often. Mustangs, no slouches themselves in the front court, as they can put a lineup out there consisting of 3 6-footers at a time. Terrific challenge there by Hutzler. Ball short. Self tips to Hutzler, and the Mustangs looking to push the action. Langlois caught with her hand in the cookie jar on the reach-in. It will be Mustang possession with under a minute to play here. 14-7. The Lancers doubling up on the Mustangs as it stands. Certainly not what the fans expected. A terrific crowd on hand when you consider, I understand there is another major sporting event happening this evening that might be available to Canadian viewers, but we'll touch on that a little later, I'm sure. A great crowd here to take in women's basketball action, and they are being treated to a dandy. Not the way the Mustangs drew it up coming out of the locker room, but they're putting up some fight now as the momentum has shifted ever so slightly in their direction. Fast-paced game here. Hutzler sets the screen, double screen provided by Self. Galley looking to create, gets the shot up, no good. Jean with the rebound, and the Lancers elect to push back at the Mustangs. Galley moving her feet, falls down, has to recover. Able to do so just in time as Peklova looking for the post entry. Can't get it. Nice backdoor cut there by Kovacevic. Surrounded by the Mustangs. Moss with the turnover. Here is Molden. Molden does not have numbers. Self looking for an opportunity. Shot clocks are off. 13 seconds. Self gets herself right hand job. Lancers able to have the last shot here. 4 seconds and counting. Peklova short corner. No good. Moss with the rebound, and that will close the books on the first quarter. 14-9 the score here after 10 minutes of play. And we will take just a very short break, but come on back and join us for great second quarter action. OUA West women's basketball brought to you right here on Rogers TV. After 8 minutes of play here, OUA West women's basketball action. The Western Mustangs hosting the #1 nationally ranked Windsor Lancers. The Lancers jumping out to the early lead. The Mustangs having trouble getting things going offensively, but they have recovered, cut into that Lancer lead. They trail by 5 now, 14-9 here. 8 minutes to go in the first half of play. It's Molden, Self, Daly, Hutzler, and Moss on the court. Vaughn conspicuous in her absence for the Mustangs. Prince, Kovacevic, Jean, Abbott, and Peklova for the Lancers. Hutzler working the high post. Two-man game with Self. Self no good front iron. Moss challenging the rebound. And it is Abbott pushing back for the Lancers. Daly watches her. Peklova, the Mustangs would love to see her make her work on the perimeter tonight. And Daly getting in the passing lanes. The Mustangs have been the beneficiary of some loose ball handling and passes by the Lancers. However, they just have not been able to find enough creases or conversions against this Lancer defense. Self doing what she can to get herself to the basket. Foul occurred on the floor prior to the shot attempt. This will give the Mustangs an offensive inbound underneath the Lancers basket. Langlois coming back in for the Lancers, giving Jean a break. Also coming back in is Clemenson. As we mentioned earlier, both teams able to shuffle players in and out of the game at their leisure, as the depth of talent on these two squads certainly at a level that has not been seen very often in Ontario, especially having multiple teams. In fact, I can't remember the last time there were two Ontario teams ranked inside of the top 5 in the CIS rankings. Typically an honor reserved for teams from Canada West, as they traditionally have been the powerhouse programs in CIS women's basketball. But the OUA women's game gaining steam, gaining recognition, and they are certainly starting to make some hay on the national scene. Here's Daly, left side, no good. Self launches, contact, counted, 3 points, chance for the 4-point play. Just to pick up on the last point, certainly our viewers who closely follow CIS basketball, they're probably drawing the same conclusion most of us are, that it's no surprise that Ontario is now picking up the slack where once they trailed, now that scholarships are available to athletes at Ontario universities. Scholarships capped at $3,500 per year are available now to student athletes who meet certain academic requirements. And now some of the better talent in Ontario, if not Canada, i.e. the Laura Dalleys of the world, are choosing to stay at home rather than take their talents south of the border or elsewhere in Canada. Shot clock issues for the Lancers right now. Paklova, traveling violation called on the play. Turn it over to the Mustangs. Mustangs will inbound in the backcourt. Self inbound to Vaughn. Langlois able to corral the loose ball off of Molden's penetration. Molden trying to assert herself offensively here tonight. As we said earlier, certainly that would be a boost for this Mustang attack. Paklova looking for contact. Gets no call, but the Windsor Lancers will maintain possession on the end line. Coach Barry having thoughts about sending Caitlin Letty into the ball game, as the Mustangs have certainly come roaring back. 14-13 they trail as they've scored the first 4 points of this stanza. Kovacevic misses Paklova. 6'5", able to get the loose ball. Looked like Hutzler might have given a high five on that shot attempt, but no whistle there. Daly able to control the rebound. Molden, right side, finds Daly. Daly, good ball fake, gets herself open at the free throw line. Nothing doing there. Langlois clears for the Lancers. Ball pushed up to Abbott, working against Vaughn. Paklova on the perimeter, finds Clemenson inside. She has to dump it out. 3-point attempt, but the whistle blows. Not quite certain what happened. Perhaps the player had stepped out of bounds and not reestablished herself. We might have to get a look at a replay to see where the whistle was there. 14-13 the score. Mustangs in front right now. Trailing by 1 right now. Trailed by as many as 7 in the early goings. But are battling back. Daly now surveying the defense. She finds Vaughn cross court. Vaughn looking to set up the offense for the Mustangs. High post entry for Letty. Mustangs into their standard set. Letty going to the middle. 2 Lancers there to greet her. That's Paklova and Clemenson, and I'll tell you, it's not often you're going to find many openings against those two perennial all-star vote getters in the OUA West. The Twin Towers for the Lancers, as it were, as they can shut down many an attack by their opponent's guards. Letty off the inbound, soft screen for Daly, gets it up just ahead of the shot clock going off. No good, and rebound there from Kovacevic. Langlois now pushes, loses control. Foul called from behind the play with the hand check. Looks like that one's going on Jenny Vaughn for the Mustangs. First foul on the Mustangs in the quarter. Just under 7 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Williams guarding the inbound. There's Molden on Abbott. Langlois guarded by Vaughn. Guard heavy lineup out there for the Mustangs right now around the center, Caitlin Letty. And that one catches nothing but a little piece of backboard. Not sure why the clock reset on that one, but it did. Post entry, Clemenson one-on-one against Letty, and it turns into a 1-on-4. But she traps the ball against her hip, will not get the call. Though the basket went down, it is no good. Called for the double dribble. Vaughn now pushes up to Molden. Vaughn, high post entry for Letty. And the Mustangs trying to open themselves up here. It looks like Langlois is going to get called for the push here. She tried to blow up the screen being set at the top of the key. Mustangs simply cannot shake these Lancer defenders right now. As one of my former coaching compatriots would say, the Lancers simply know what bubblegum the Mustangs are chewing tonight. They are that close. The Mustangs really finding it difficult to open up the shooting lanes. There is Daly, terrific pass to the top. Williams slings it to Molden inside. And Letty called for a 3-second violation as things started to get ugly underneath with Baklova. Two girls going at it right there, both wanting to establish their presence on the interior, both with a lot of pride and success in their last couple of years here in OUA women's basketball, trying to prove they are the better here on the court tonight. Jean now calling out the offense for the Lancers. Clemenson and Baklova up high. Clemenson with the move inside, no good, corralled by the Mustangs. As this is a physical game anytime you get within 10 feet of the basket here tonight. Daly freezes Baklova with a beautiful move, but cannot find Letty on the inside. Turn it over for the Lancers. We are frozen at 14-13 here on the scoreboard. And as I say that, Morgan Jean with the basket for the Lancers there, able to crack that egg that was under the scoring column this quarter for the Lancers. Those are the first points for the Lancers in the second quarter of play. They come with 5.5 to play. Daly looking for a shot as she's got Baklova. The Mustangs seem to like that matchup. Letty, left hand against Clemenson. She'll get the contact on the up and under. Go to the line for a pair. We keep saying that these are two of the better teams here in Canada. Certainly the stats bear that out as well. When you look at the scoring numbers for these squads, the Windsor Lancers find themselves number 2 in the country in scoring at almost 79 points a game. Letty at the line, able to convert on the first. Western Mustangs not far behind, ranking 4th in the country. We'll show you where they sit in the OUA in just a few moments. As Letty converts on the pair, once again a single point separating these two combatants here tonight, as this is a heavyweight tilt. CIS women's basketball. Clemenson finds Prince. Looking for Clemenson on the inside, but the Mustangs know where she is. Prince follows her own. Hutzler with the rebound. Self ready to push for the Mustangs. There is Vaughn, right side. Kick to Molden for 3. Count it! Kelly Molden for 3, and the Mustangs with their first lead of the ball game. Jean works it. Kovacevic, a long 3 to answer, no good. Hutzler with the rebound. Head coach Chantal Vallée at the scorer's table right now for the Lancers. She had a timeout waiting, she thought. Referees perhaps did not hear the horn go off, which we did. Jean now with the rebound from Kovacevic. Looking to answer and regain the lead for these Windsor Lancers. Clemenson has stopped Prince above the free throw line, working against Hutzler. Hutzler giving her lots of space, begging her to shoot. Clemenson with the roll, no help there. It was late. Hutzler forced to foul. Foul came on the ground. It will be end line possession here with only 4 seconds on the shot clock. It will be a reset for the Lancers. Rebecca Moss coming back into the ball game. She will give Jackie Self a break. There will be an offensive inbound here for the Lancers. Kovacevic with Clemenson in front of her. Clemenson cross and leaks. There is Jean, the outlet up top. Whistle off the ball right here. Clock issues as the official is coming to the scorer's table. 4:05 put up on the clock. And 10 seconds placed on the shot clock. Kovacevic to inbound, and I tell you, she's one of those Windsor Lancers. You look up and down this roster, the number of players that are scraping 6 feet and those better than it. It is certainly an impressive lineup in terms of size. Jean forced to lift that one, no good, but follows and gets her own rebound. Extra possession here for the Lancers as Molden was unable to track down the long rebound. Whistle starting to come fast and furious here in the second quarter. Molden called for the foul. That is the third foul of the quarter on the Mustangs. Both teams playing a relatively clean game in terms of the foul count. Neither team finding themselves in the penalty yet, though the Lancers do have 4 in the quarter. In the next foul and every subsequent, the Mustangs will shoot 2 penalty free throws. Prince setting the screen. Moss letting her work in the high post. There's the entry to Clemenson, and it was certainly Letty all over her, like all over Clemenson, like a bad habit on that one. Clemenson just wearing her for fun on that play, as it was incredible to see that battle take place. But we said both teams love to battle, as both teams love to run up those scores as best they can. We're going to take a look at Windsor taking a timeout now at the scoring numbers for these two respective squads. Clemenson a big reason why those Lancers, number 2 in the country, nearly 79 points a game, and you see the percentages there on your screen. Western leading the conference in overall field goal percentage, hitting 49% from the field, 40% from behind the arc. Just incredible numbers for these two squads. When you're talking about 49% from the field for these Western Mustangs, it is certainly something that gives you a lot of free points. Free throw percentage, though, something to be desired for the Mustangs, 62%. Not quite getting it done, 82%. That's championship caliber basketball there. Windsor Lancers converting when they get to the line. They have made 166 trips to the line this season compared to Western's 123. That's a difference of 60 points alone at the line. The Lancers and the Mustangs, and certainly the Lancers find themselves in many a situation given their size and depth. Other teams forced to foul them in the later stages of ball games to try to keep themselves in the game. Give the Lancers a number of trips to the free throw line, and they are certainly converting. And I'll tell you, that 49% from the field for the Western Mustangs, that is one of the better numbers in the country. When you stack it up, in fact, it is number 1 in the country, the Lancers number 2, Alberta number 3. When you look at CIS numbers, there is Paklova taking a two-handed shove from Rebecca Moss right there, something you might see from the guys in visors and gloves rather than the people wearing the jerseys on the court. It will send Paklova to the line for a pair. And speaking of rankings, that 40% for Western from three-point land, that also good for number 1 in the country. So though the total points sit them number 4, the percentage numbers, Western certainly efficient offensively. Tonight, however, slightly different story as the Windsor Lancers have done a nice job stifling the attack. The Mustangs shooting a mere 23%, 5 of 22 on the evening. Here is Molden looking for help. Vaughn at the top. The Lancers not much better in terms of percentage, 33% as it goes, but there is Vaughn getting in contact. Count it. Chance to expand this to a 3-point lead for the Mustangs. If you're head coach Steph Barry right now for these Mustangs, you understand just how important this game is. As you see on the replay, a little push in the back there by Langlois. And that is already number 4 on Mia Marie Langlois. 4 fouls to go along with the 5 points, 3 boards, and a pair of steals. She is going to be stapled to that bench for a little while. She has picked up the dangerous fourth again. On your fifth foul, you are disqualified from the game. Jean now. Abbott launches for three, no good. Tipped away by Clemenson, as Vaughn just had no hope of getting that ball over the much taller Clemenson. Lancer possession on the end line. Keeping the Mustangs in the game, certainly the three-point shooting percentage. They are 3 of 7 already in the ball game, 43%. That keeping them close and at the line, despite what the stats say. Perhaps the announcers kiss of death right here, but they are 6 of 6 from the line thus far. The Lancers good on both of their 2 trips to the line this evening. Conference here between the officials blew the initial call. It does appear it is going to be corrected now. Side official coming in, helping out his partner, and they get it right in front of this hometown faithful, who certainly let the officials know what they thought of the call. Here is Jenny Vaughn carrying the ball over half for the Mustangs, and she carries the ball. That's the second time we've seen that call tonight. These officials certainly have their keys tonight in this ball game, as they know in an offensive show as this can become between 2 great teams. They must be careful nobody gets the unfair advantage. Kovacevic, baseline cutter, gets it back out to Abbott. 3 ball, no good. Hutzler working hard for the rebound. Here is Vaughn, able to control the ball like she's got it on a string out there between 2 Lancer defenders. She'll set things up for the Mustangs. 2:18 to play, Mustangs ahead by 3. Vaughn one-on-one, has a few inches on Jean, but cannot get the shot up. That's a mismatch the Mustangs would like inside. Hutzler dive to the hole. Terrific slip on the screen and count it. 23-18, Mustangs trying to build a little cushion going into the locker room here. As Peklova launches the 3, no good off the side iron. Feeling a little Shaquille O'Neal-ish perhaps, launching the deep ball despite the fact that she can make hay inside. Downey now rotation to Vaughn. Mustangs will be patient offensively, look for their opportunities such as that one there. Hutzler at 6'2", Jean at 5'6". That is just no contest. And Chantal Valet forced to call the timeout here for the Windsor Lancers. The Mustangs starting to put just a little bit of a run on here. 23-18, 5 points the difference right now, as the Mustangs have certainly started to find the cracks in that Lancer defense. Western Mustangs, you see assistant coaches Jackie White, Matt Spencer, and Vic Uzanis there around the huddle. Steph Barry, the center of attention, of course, as he tries to dial something up for these Mustangs. They know that this is going to be a Windsor Lancer team who is going to be there right till the end. And when you get an opportunity such as the one you have right now to kick them while they're down, so to speak, you must take advantage and try to put as many on the board while the Lancers are reeling. Good timeout here, though, by head coach Valet. You see here in the middle of the Lancer huddle as she is settling the troops down and reminding them, now, wait a minute. For the first, really, 16 minutes of this ball game, we had the Mustangs every which way we wanted them. We've got to settle ourselves down, get back to what got us here, which was terrific defense. Offensively, not exactly their best performance of the year, but defensively, eliminating everything on the backside of the play and help defense being there. Anytime the Mustangs have gotten into that screen and roll situation with Hutzler in the last couple of minutes, Hutzler has found a way either through the slip or through ball rotation to get herself a clean look at the basket, and she is converting. Hutzler on the night now, 6 points on 3 of 6 shooting, already a pair of rebounds. Self leading the way for the Mustangs with her 9 points, a pair of boards, an assist, and a steal to go with it. But the story for the Lancers, certainly Langlois being stable to the bench, started the game, but she will be down for a while with that foul trouble. 12 seconds on the shot clock. There's Peklova looking to create against Hutzler, can't find anything. Jean looking for Clemenson, who's double teamed. Dally guarding her closely. And there is backside play right there by Peklova, able to get in front of her man. Self now, 25-20 the score. Ball off of the Lancers. Inbound by the Mustangs. Hutzler hands off to Moss. And Hutzler inside once again. Muddy Hutzler really putting it to the Lancers right now. As it is a battle of the pigs here on the Alumni Hall hardcourt. Not only teams in terms of rankings, but Hutzler, Paklova, Clemenson, the forwards on display. As you see Abbott getting inside, no good for Mustangs there for the rebound, corralled by Hutzler. Coming up on 30 seconds to play in the first half. Self working the point forward roll. She's got a pair of shooters weak side if she wants them. Position now for Hutzler. She'll come up, set the screen. Moss kicks weak side. There's Daly in rotation. Wide open look, front iron. Shot clocks are off. 15 seconds to play here. Lancers trying to break. Vaughn shuts down the attack. Jean looking for some help. Paklova above the arc. Abbott chooses to launch. That one partially blocked. No good. Ball in the backcourt. 1 second left. Vaughn puts up the prayer. Nearly gets it to Baldwin. That would have been something to see, but the Mustangs will be more than happy to take a 7-point lead into the locker room. We're going to take a quick break and step away, but come on back for halftime interviews and more when we return. Mustangs 27, the Lancers 20. Rogers TV, right back at you. West women's basketball action, 27-20 at the half. The Mustangs in front of the #1 nationally ranked Windsor Lancers. I am joined by Lancers assistant Josh Lehman. Thank you so much for joining us, Josh. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Really got off to a terrific start there for the Windsor Lancers, especially early on, 10-3 lead in the early goings. What was it that you saw from your team defensively in particular that shut down a really high-powered Mustang attack?
Well, we did a really good job switching and not letting them get the run out. They do a really good job in transition, and we were able to stop that early.
One thing that we noticed in the later stages of that first half, Muddy Hutzler certainly starting to do a job for the Mustangs, starting to get some inside looks, perhaps surprising for the coaching staff given the strength that you present in the front court?
Yes and no. I mean, she's a great athlete. She gets up and down the floor extremely well. It was certainly something that we were aware of and we were trying to game plan for, but she runs up and down the floor very well, and she did a great job in that second quarter. Turning your attention to your lineup here, we look at Jessica Clemenson, certainly someone that around the country we know that any given night she could explode for 20, 30, even more. Held to 2 points in the first half. Game planning on the western part, do you think, or is this one of those nights where other players are going to have to step up for the Lancers? I would say, again, a combination of both. Certainly Western's doing a great job defensively, holding us to only 20 points and Jess only 2. But we've got to do a better job taking care of the basketball, making good decisions, and if she does that in the second half, hopefully she'll play a little better. We'll let you away with this one, Josh.
Mia Marie Langlois going down with 4 fouls in the early going there for the Lancers. What sort of impact might that have on your rotation in the second half?
Well, Maya struggling with foul trouble is significant impact for us. She's one of our best players and brings the ball up for us, and she sets the table for the offense. So it's going to be tough for us in the second half. We're going to have somebody else step up and contribute and take care of that load.
Well, thank you so much, Josh. Appreciate you joining us here on Rogers TV. Best of luck in the second half.
Thanks very much. Take care.
We're going to take just a quick break once again, but come on back and join us with head coach of the Mustang men's basketball program, Bradley Campbell, here to speak with us and talk some basketball on the other side of the break when we come back on Rogers TV. And welcome back to Rogers TV CIS Women's Basketball. Joined at the half here by head coach of the Mustang men's basketball program, Bradley Campbell. Brad, thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, no problem.
Really appreciate having you here as we are excited to see in the second half of our doubleheader action your men's program take on the Windsor Lancers. Certainly a contest that in the last 4 or 5 years has gained much more momentum and traction in the OUA West and certainly across the country as something that has an impact on standings. Could you talk a little bit for our viewers just about the significance of that rivalry to your men's squad?
Well, it's one of the most significant rivalries we have right now in the OUA West and basically in the country. Obviously, the geography and proximity of the two schools, and you know, both I think have had a little bit of a resurgence maybe over the past 5-6 years, and I think that's added a lot to it. And plus, you know, we've had 2 playoff appearances between each other in the past 3 years, so there's a lot on the line. And you know, obviously Windsor's an outstanding program, and one of the two of us is usually, you know, in the top 10 in Canada, and always within close striking distance to the standings. So it's always a big battle and a lot on the line.
Now, you mentioned a lot on the line and standings, national rankings certainly coming into the season. A lot expected of your men's team. Injury, circumstances, and otherwise prevented you guys from really getting out and galloping at full steam there in the first half. 5-3 your record going into the break. What were the biggest surprises for you in that first half of the season through your interlock schedule?
Well, we've to be perfectly honest, we've really had a strange season so far. We've never really had the ability to have our full team and to have any length of time almost to have a meaningful practice period. So even early on in the year, I mean, we always seem to, if we're going to have some injuries on our team, it's a bunch of guys at once. It's 4 or 5 guys, not one guy. And thus it's really put us back. And, you know, because of all that, we've been grinding out a lot of victories. We've been able to have a pretty solid record. We're nowhere where we would like to be at this stage, nor did we think we probably would be. But, you know, it happens from time to time in your seasons, and it is what it is at this point. And unfortunately, when we came back from the new year as well, we found the same situation. We've got a bunch of players tonight that, you know, I've just found out minutes ago that they're going to give it a go tonight. So, and they haven't practiced much since we've been back. So we've just been really hit hard by multiple injuries at the same time, and it's set us back, unfortunately. But you know, hopefully we have the depth to be able to deal with some of that.
Well, the break certainly coming at a good time for your team, giving you guys a chance to rest, get healthy, and get their sights set on the second half. I know you did play an exhibition game against Damon College. How valuable was that, getting the guys back together for a few practices and that game to get their sights focused on what should be a real exciting second half in the OUA West?
Well, it's extremely important. We just have such a bizarre schedule where we had our last game was November 26th, and then we came back and played Damon College in Buffalo on December 28th. So, I mean, it's over a month that we basically calendar month we had off. So there's a lot of rust. You know, conditioning has suffered a little bit. We did some things over the break to try and battle some of that. You know, the unfortunate part that we had is we seemed to, that break came at a great time to get healthy, and then all of a sudden we have like 3 or 4 practices, and then we've got an array of some of the same and different guys injured. So, I mean, it's just something that we can't seem to shake at this point, and hopefully we can just keep on battling it, and hopefully some guys can get healthy as the season goes on, and we can continue to build on that. But what it will do is it's going to give some other guys an opportunity, and some of our young guys, especially a couple of our outstanding freshmen, and hopefully they can build from that and gain some experience and be better at the end of the year.
Well, we'll let you away with this one here, Brad. You talk about the guys on the team. Let's maybe put a couple of names to faces for our viewers. Who can the viewers really count on for interesting, intriguing, or strong performances in the second half of the season?
Well, I think what you're really going to see is our usual suspects, if you will, coming to play every night, and that's going to be our 2 all-stars, Andy Wiedemeyer and Ryan Barbeau. They're the backbone of our team, and they need to lead us. We've got 2 very exciting freshmen in Quinn Henderson and Peter Schultes, and you know, although they're rookies, we ask a lot of them, and I think if you see those 2 particularly play well, we have chance to win big games like games tonight. So, you know, unfortunately, they're only in first year, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on them to perform. But we need them to do that for us to have a chance to win. So I would count on those 4 to have a look at. Those 4 are really the keys to us competing with the elite teams.
Well, certainly we know you guys are capable of it from the top down, a terrific program that you've put together in your time there behind the bench, and we are very excited to see you guys match up against the number 8 nationally ranked Windsor Lancers later tonight. Thank you so much, Brad, for joining us here, Mustangs at the Half. We're going to step away, take a quick break once again, but come on back and join us for more Mustangs at the Half right here on Rogers TV. Welcome back, Mustangs at the half. I am joined by Mustangs assistant coach Matt Spencer. Matt, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Always appreciate it, and certainly I know you appreciated seeing a renewed effort and attention to defense perhaps in the latter stages of that first half by the girls out there as they took what was a 7-point deficit at one point and turned into a 7-point lead at the half. How were the girls able to build into that 7-point lead? What started working so well for you?
Well, the first thing we did is we started taking care of the basketball. I think we had 6 turnovers in the first 7 minutes of the game, and we have 7 at the half, so that means we went 13 or 14 minutes and only turned the ball over once. So offensively, we made some adjustments, took better care of the ball, and we went away from certain stuff that just wasn't working.
And we've already seen coming into the game 8 different players for these Western Mustangs. How has your depth really helped you through the grind of that first half of the season and through the early stages of the game tonight?
It's a luxury to have 8 or 9 bodies that you can go to, and we've in this season we've seen 13 different players hit the floor, and as deep as 10 in really close competitive games. So we're blessed in that regard, and tonight it seems we're without the services of rookie Lacey Knox, who was big for us in the first half of the season.
Well, talking about without services, one player that the Windsor Lancers will be counting on for greater service in the second half, I know Jessica Clemenson, their all-star, all-Canadian candidate forward, holding her to 2 points in the second half. Holding her to 2 points in the first half. Game planning for the second half. Are you considering that given her stature as a player in this league, she is a player you got to watch to go off at any time?
Yeah, we're certainly well aware that she's going to come out with some hunger in her belly, and she's going to try to make some adjustments. I'm sure that their coaching staff will have made some adjustments, and it won't surprise us at all to see her get more touches, more shots, and to be honest, probably more points.
Well, you guys did a great job in the first half. We're excited to see a second half of basketball here, Matt. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks very much.
Second half action just about to get underway. It will be Windsor possession here to start the second half. 27-20 the lead as we put 10 on the clock and get ready to put the ball in the air. It is going to be Daly, Hutzler, Self, Vaughn, and Molden back out there for the Mustangs. For the Windsor Lancers, it will be Williams out there with Paklova, Clemenson, Jean, and Abbott. Abbott with the ball working against Self. It is Daly drawing the yeoman's work on Paklova inside. Hutzler gets her hand in the passing lane, guarding Clemenson. She will push right side, and from the turnover, the Mustangs draw first blood here in the second half. Turnovers certainly have been the story of the game thus far. Who will win the turnover battle will go a long way to deciding the victor on the scoreboard. But as we said, this battle, this war of 2 teams, certainly not over tonight. This is the first of 2 tilts between these squads. Shot clock trouble. Clemenson able to get the ball up and in. Barry begging for the travel violation there, as it looked like she might have taken too many prior to releasing the ball. For this, the first of 2, as we see the trap there by Self. Terrific vision, finds Daly, short corner in the cross court. Hutzler tips it out. That will go over to the Lancers. The second match in this war of 2 talented programs will take place Wednesday, January 19th, all the way down the 401 in Windsor. St. Denis Center, certainly that will be one that is going to be every bit as interesting as this. And you see Hutzler giving Clemenson all sorts of space on the perimeter. Daly now working hard on Paklova, giving up a couple of inches there. Weak side rebound for Clemenson. Puts her shoulder down, no good. Hutzler now clears the rebound, and she's pushing for these Mustangs. Self, the point forward, hands off to Vaughn. Vaughn surveys the defense. Vaughn takes the screen from Hutzler, will get the ball in return. Shot clock running down, quick hands there by Carissa Williams, the rookie out of Windsor, 5'9" guard. Certainly playing a nice game defensively tonight, and she perhaps will be the one counted upon to fill the void created by Maya Marie Langlois in her absence due to the foul trouble. 4 fouls on Langlois in the first half of play. Williams passes on the 3, wants to get to the hoop, no good. Rebound over the top by Paklova, and she is the tallest person on the court virtually every time she's on the court, as she does stand at 6'5" out of Prague in the Czech Republic. ball here will go to the Western Mustangs on the far sideline, pardon me, right in front of the scorer's table. They correct themselves once again like a yo-yo. We're back to the other side, 29-22. Here we are in the early stages of the second half of basketball. Number 1 in the CIS, the Windsor Lancers. Number 5, the Western Mustangs. Head coach Steph Barry of the Mustangs and Chantal Vallée, his counterpart for the Lancers, as they watch self-build to terrific young coaches in the CIS who have built terrific programs. And it just so happens they are 2 hours apart down to 4:01. Competition can breed excellence, and you're seeing that in this rivalry here. Jean gets herself inside, runs into a wall of Mustangs. A couple of options there for the foul call. We'll see who gets saddled. That's going to go on Jenny Vaughn, as Vaughn picks up the first Mustang foul of the half. That is the second foul of the ball game on Vaughn. And Jean will find herself at the line for a pair. Good on the first, 31-23, 8-point lead here for the Mustangs. Williams into the game to replace Molden for Western. As Jean is good on 2 of 2. Pressure applied by the Lancers. Good break here. Daly ahead of the pack. Takes the contact. Cannot finish. Jean with the foul. Terrific vision there to break the press by the Western Mustangs. And for all you young athletes watching at home, there's the perfect evidence as to why the pass is the way to break the press. We'll take another look at it here as you see Daly got the ball out in front of Jean. Jean able to catch up and apply token pressure. You know, Coach Barry counts on Daly to make more of those than she misses despite the contact. She misses the first free throw. In and out it goes. That one the first Mustang miss of the evening. They are 6 of 7 from the line. Make that 7 of 8. The Mustangs bettering their 62% on the season. Abbott finds Jean in the backcourt. Both teams applying a little bit of pressure, trying to eat some shot clock in the early stages. Clemenson finds a touch, shuffle of the feet, up and good. You heard assistant coach Matt Spencer call it at the half. He knew that Clemenson was going to see the ball in her hands quite often this second half, and that is an obvious focus for these Windsor Lancers here in the early going. Clemenson already with 4 points for the Lancers here in the third quarter of play. Vaughn now, stutter step, left hand, that one's good off the window. And Paklova drawing a little attention here by the officials as her shoelace needs a little attention. As you'll see here on the replay, just a terrific look as Jean comes out on Moss. And while we're away from the action, that ball is turned over to the Western Mustangs. There you see the penetration and score by Vaughn. Daly now looking for the inbound, finds Hutzler able to curl. Soft corner, gets the shot up, short, no good. Daly with her own rebound on the reverse, the iron with the rejection. There is Jean pushing the sideline. Working against Vaughn, Daly over to help. Long shot by Abbott, rebound corralled by the Mustangs. They're able to break. They've got numbers, but Williams able to come back defensively with the help. Nice find by Hutzler. Williams for 3, no good. Terrific box out there. Paklova and Hutzler putting on a clinic underneath. Low post play. Really at the forefront here tonight. Some of the best in the country working on the inside. Williams with the up fake gets by Williams. Williams by Williams. And there's Abbott canning one for the Lancers. Here is Hutzler at the half. She sees Vaughn behind the defense. And the Mustangs finding the Lancers sleeping on their pressure. There is Daly able to knock down the miss by Vaughn. Things starting to look just a little sloppy on the pressure. Vallée forced to call the timeout here. Mustangs will take it to the bench. And they have got to be pleased with what they're seeing overall. An 8-point lead right now, 36-28 in the early goings here. They have held the Lancers to 8 points here in the early stages. certainly has been much more of an up and down start to this second half than it was in the first. Defense dominating the first half of play, but scoring seemingly the flavor of the month right now. And no surprise, as some of the top scorers in Ontario are participating in this ballgame. In fact, Clemenson, the Windsor Lancer star, the #1 scorer in the province at a hair under 20 points a game. Kovacevic in 5th at 15.5 a game, and you see there from the percentages, once again, Western Windsor, those field goal percentages, #1 and 2, not only in Ontario, but in Canada. 49% from the field for the Mustangs, the standard to beat. Windsor solidly in second. Third place, it was Alberta at 45.5%. The Mustangs also leading the country in field goal percentage, and keep in mind for you mathematicians at home, that 33% from behind the arc is equivalent to 50% from the field. So the fact that the Mustangs are shooting a shade under 40%, certainly a number that the coaching staff will take any day of the week and twice anytime they play the Lancers. A lot of size on the court for the Lancers right now. Clemenson with the ball out of bounds, joined by Prince Kovacevic. Kovacevic sneaking behind the defense. Self has an eye on her. Abbott now. There is Langlois back into the ball game, surprisingly perhaps. Valet counting on her not to pick up a foul. We'll see what the Mustangs do offensively against her. There's Vaughn picking up the turnover. Here is Self going right at Clemenson. Up and counted as Clemenson went for the rejection on the ball. Langlois now to initiate the offense. Finds Abbott. Working against Self. There's Abbott looking for Prince to exit. Finds herself a cutter. Clemenson orchestrating things from down low, trying to get herself a touch. Prince from 8 feet, in and out, no good as the shot clock is winding down. Moss with the rebound. 10-point lead for the Mustangs on their home court. Backdoor cut by Vaughn, could not get the ball to her. Here's Williams looking for penetration against Langlois. Moss on the baseline. Letty with the up and down. However, she was camped out inside that key far too long. 3-second violation called. Turn it over to the Lancers as Clemenson will come out and take a break. Abbott now. Heather Angus, 5th-year player, transfer from the University of Guelph into the game for the Lancers. And Kovacevic putting up the prayer, no good. Prince called over the back. It will be Mustang ball on the inbound.
Lancers foul number 9.
Rebecca Moss will it down for the Stangs as Daly checks back into the game to give Self a blow. It is Daly, Letty, Vaughn, Williams, and Moss for the Mustangs. Prince, Abbott, Angus, Kovacevic, and Langlois for the Lancers. Self working against Abbott. Abbott doing a terrific job staying in front defensively. And that's Vaughn working the offhand. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Daly, high post entry to Letty. Daly on the cut. Has to get one up here. Off the hands of the Lancers. No good. Shot clock violation against the Mustangs. Turn it over to the Lancers, and Chantal Valet certainly pleased with that one. You could see her applauding on the sideline and finding an opportunity to teach in that moment as well, going back to the bench. Langlois now working against Vaughn. Williams trying to sneak in from behind, can't find the ball. Here's Kovacevic on the wing. She's got an open baseline if she wants it. No help there for the Stangs. Prince dives to the middle, finds Angus. Outside to Kovacevic, three-pointer up, no good. Rebound, Angus, controlled by Letty. Here come the Mustangs, 3-on-2 opportunity. Daly doesn't like what she sees. She will reset. Here's Vaughn at the top, initiating the offense. Letty now, huge mismatch inside. Spins back baseline. Angus cannot handle Letty. Letty earning herself a trip to the free throw line. Valet is going to call another timeout here. Get her troops organized, as there are simply a couple of mismatches out on the court for those Western Mustangs. Well, we talked about it. These teams are certainly some of the best shooters in the country, and that we are seeing in part here tonight, even though the numbers aren't as high as we've seen some games. A three-point shot certainly one of the flavors working for the Mustangs. You see Self knows how to tickle the twine from downtown. Mustangs 3 of 9 on the evening already. There's Molden, good for one. The Windsor Lancers only 2 of 14 here, as they have been held to 30% from the field by the Mustang defense. That is the hallmark of a terrific team. When you are not getting things done offensively to the degree you're accustomed to, you find a way to keep yourself in, if not win the ball game. The Mustangs doing it with defense, holding the high-powered Lancer attack, number 2 scoring team in the country, to 30% from the field, 14% from the arc. They get to the line. They've been perfect, 4 of 4 thus far. What's the answer to that? You simply don't let them get to the line all that often. The Mustangs doing a good job defensively of limiting the touches by the stars of these Windsor Lancers. You look at Clemenson and the work that she's done tonight, and certainly 2 points in the first half, not getting the job done. She's come back with a bit of a vengeance here in the second half. Got 4 points in the early going, give her 6 on the night. Second leading scorer on the team tonight. Abbott with 7 leads the way for the Mustangs. It has been 13 points for Jackie South. Letty adds 1 to her line there. Letty now with 3 on the evening, but those 13 points for Self, good to lead the squad. 10 for Hutzler. And certainly the front court of the Mustangs against this talented front court of the Lancers having a good night so far. Ball up ahead to Kovacevic, cross court to Abbott. Abbott up in the air, draws the contact and the foul. Letty trying to draw her second charge of the night. Referees did not believe she was there in time. I got to agree with them on that one. And it will send Abbott to the free throw line. We'll get another look here. You see Kovacevic cross court pass to Abbott. And Letty clearly sliding into position there as she was still moving laterally, trying to get in the way of the penetration. But perhaps the trip to the floor worth it, as Abbott missing the first of 2 here. Molden back into the game, as is Williams for the Lancers. One shot remaining here for Abbott. 39-28 the score remains. Hutzler skies for the rebound. Angus, veteran move, steals it right back for the Lancers. And flying in for the rebound is the rookie Williams. As Coach Valley doing a nice job for Langlois, trying to keep her out of foul opportunities. Post entry, there's Hutzler, no good, too hard off the glass. She and Prince having a good go at it inside, and that's going to be Hutzler whistled for that one. Loose ball foul. Terrific job by Prince gaining position. Number 2, Lancer possessions. Langlois set to check back in as Coach Vallée ready to go offense for defense every opportunity she gets, as she's got a good one in the rookie Williams. Kovacevic begging for the ball. She was wide open for a moment. Dally nearly picked off the pass coming back to the middle. And she's good, hustling through there, able to find the return pass. 2 hands in her back, and she will earn the turnover for the Mustangs. That is the 4th foul on the Lancers here. 39-30 to score. Under 3 minutes to play. Offense for defense once again. Williams coming back in for Langlois, and you will see plenty of that the rest of this game. Full court pressure applied here by the Lancers. Mustangs, Caitlin Letty looking for the inbound. Williams showing her speed. Able to get a touch. Coach Barry calling out the press break. Safety, Angus back for the Lancers, pardon me. Dally inbound to Hutzler. Hutzler wants to get rid of it. She finds Letty. Letty up to Vaughn, but that one cut off by Abbott. And the Mustangs finding a little bit of trouble with this Lancer pressure. To counter that, they will bring Self back into the ballgame. Good decision maker and basically another point guard on the floor. Hutzler securing the rebound, but that's stolen away by Kovacevic as Hutzler's tried to bring it to the chin. Open post here for Kovacevic, no good, lot of contact, no whistle. And here comes Dally pushing back as you see Angus once again reaching around, getting a piece of ball. Williams being very aggressive defensively, giving Chantel Vallée everything that she can while she's out on that court, proving her worth defensively. But an unnecessary foul is that one. A costly one, putting the Mustangs to the line. The Lancers are in the penalty, and perhaps just a little bit of inexperience showing there. You love the aggression in the young player. However, the decision-making has to be questioned at times. Langlois set to check back in for Williams. offense for defense once again. Self into the game for Daly. Also coming in for the Lancers after a good rest, Jessica Clemenson.
Vaughn goes to the line, shooting 2.
Vaughn no good on the first. 39-30 the score remains. The Lancers are in the penalty with 2 minutes 9 seconds to play in the third quarter. Vaughn good on number 2 to push this back to a 10-point lead. Abbott inbound, has the ball inbounds. Langlois running the show for the Lancers. Turnover there. Jackie Self missed do everything for the Mustangs. With the turnover and the conversion, you see the ugly monster, the turnover monster rearing its head once again. Talked about it at the halftime with both coaches, as it was certainly something that both recognize will play a huge role in this second half. Langlois lifts, and that's why you got to find a way to keep her on the court. She can put that ball through the hoop, three-pointer, cutting the lead back to 9. Here is Molden cross-court for Self. Essentially 3 point guards on the floor for the Mustangs with Molden, Self, and Vaughn. Self rejecting the screen. Nice backside cut by Letty, and the Mustangs reestablishing themselves inside presence. The Lancers, I guarantee you, are taking notes because the rematch is coming in 2 weeks' time. No team likes to lose on their home court, and I can guarantee that regardless of how this one finishes, and there is a lot of basketball to be played, the Lancers are already going to be hungry for this rematch given the sloppy brand of basketball that has been played for the most part here tonight. Turnovers just killing the Lancers, but there is Prince getting work done inside. Self will take her time. The Mustangs enjoying a 9-point lead. 40 seconds to play here in the third. Self keeping the ball up nice and high. Rebound Hutzler. 10 seconds on the clock. Vaughn for 3. No good. Hutzler fighting for the rebound. Langlois in there as well. Langlois clears. Abbott with the ball. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Clemenson able to get it out to Prince, who will reset the offense. Langlois on the curl. Gets it up from the free throw line. Valet looking for the call. And all of a sudden, we've got a lot of contact happening underneath. You see down on the floor, Kovacevic, as she took a hard shot there to the throat area. She is able to get up under her own power here. Players and coaches all begging for the whistles right now. We are going to take a quick look as we turn to the free throw here. Caitlin Letty up to shoot a pair. We're going to take a look now at that turnover. Self created for herself in the open court, able to convert. And it's these sorts of plays tonight, ladies and gentlemen, that have really done a number on the Windsor Lancers. Self just playing ball hawk there in the middle of the defense for the Western Mustangs. As you see, good turnover there. Created by the guard pressure, and Self hanging around the middle of the court looking for either the passing lane or the loose ball on the ground. She finds it, and there you see the penetration, finding Letty inside. Self, we've said it time and again, along with my broadcast partner, Greg Layson, who should be back to join us this weekend for our next Mustang action here on Rogers. Certainly Self reminding us of Scottie Pippen. Somebody can get everything done when needed. Clemenson inside working against Daly, and perhaps the conversations paying off there for the Lancers as a quick whistle. Clemenson just turned her shoulder and went hard to the basket. Here you see the play from a moment ago. Letty on the inside with Kovacevic. That's what put Letty to the line. The foul called on the Lancers first. However, the result of the play, Kovacevic a little worse for wear after it, but the foul did go against the Lancers, putting Letty to the line. Here now, Clemenson able to convert. 44-36, 8-point lead, only 5.5 seconds remaining on the clock in the third quarter. Clemenson 2 for 2, that's why she is an All-Canadian candidate. Hutzler ready to check back in, she takes Molden. Daly to inbounds, Self, Vaughn, Moss, and Hutzler. Mustangs looking for a quick score, 5.5 seconds to go. Daly gets it into Hutzler, back to Daly now, 3 seconds. Turnover there, Abbott will have a chance to put it up. Doesn't goes, ball still in her hands, no shot attempt. Chance for the Lancers to pull even closer. Cannot capitalize, but they do a good job cutting into the Mustang lead. 7-point lead from the half remains intact, though. 44-37 the score. Come on back for the final quarter of CIS women's basketball action right here on Rogers TV. Quarter of basketball action here from Alumni Hall, London, Ontario. Kevin Gordon bringing you all the action on Rogers TV. It is the Western Mustangs taking a 7-point lead into the final quarter of play. It'll be Hutzler, Self, Daly, Vaughn, and Moss on the court for Western. Abbott, Peklova, Kovacevic, Clemenson, and Williams, the rookie, on the court for the Windsor Lancers. Williams and Langlois playing that in-and-out game for Chantal Vallée. Langlois in on the offensive substitutions, Williams in defensively. There is Hutzler going hard, rejected by Clemenson. 10 seconds on the shot clock for Vaughn. She finds middle penetration, high off the glass, and count it. Terrific defensive stance by the Lancers. Unfortunately, no help there in the end. Jackie Self having herself a whale of a game for these Western Mustangs. 15 points on the night. Vaughn gives herself 8 now on the score sheet. Kovacevic, basket did splash, but it will not count. Whistle blows. Turn it over to the Mustangs. It was a 3 in the key violation, creating that turnover there. Western Mustangs now with the inbound. Vallée working the officials, earning full value there for her efforts tonight. 46-37, 9-point lead. There's Williams showing the quick hands and the quick feet. And she's able to get her hands in the passing lanes. That will scare Langlois away from the scorer's table, as she does not want to get called into this game. Defensively, she is nursing 4 fouls, as she has done a terrific job of doing so. Between her and Coach Vallée, as you see Williams, her counterpart, with the steal, trying to tip away from behind us. Hutzler and Daly called for the foul on the attack. Williams earning herself a trip to the free throw line. Taking another quick look at the stats through the first 3 quarters of play. And as we turn to the game summary, it is both teams struggling from the field. As you see on the replay, Hutzler nearly had the tip, but Daly forced to commit the contact there. Williams to the line now for a pair. As I say, both teams struggling from the field. Both under 40%. The Mustangs slightly better, 37 from the field on 17 of 46. The Lancers 14 of 45, and I'll tell you, 31% field goal shooting. The head coach of the Mustangs, Steph Barry, will take that any night against any team, particularly the #1 ranked team in the country, being these Windsor Lancers, of course. Jackie Self having that whale of a night. Short on that one. Kovacevic pushing the pace against Daly. Daly gets her feet set. Basket goes, but it's waved off. Mustangs drawing their second offensive foul of the night. Daly saw it coming, got herself set, protected, took the hit for her team. We'll see it here on the replay. She knew what was coming. Great job by Vaughn directing her back into her. Set for a good half second there, and now the Mustangs getting things done defensively. As you see the coaches having words with the officials at the scorer's table, getting their 2 cents worth in this quick break in the action. Stars of the game for the Mustangs. Certainly got to talk about Muddy Hutzler along with Self. Hutzler 12 points, 8 rebounds on the night, doing work against one of the better front courts in Canada, that being the Windsor Lancers. Paklova, Prince, Clemenson, Kovacevic. Here's Self going hard right side, draws contact. She'll go to the free throw line. That is already the second foul of the quarter on these Lancers, and certainly free throw shooting going to play a role down the stretch. The Lancers happy to play that game. 82% on the year to the Mustangs 62%. And so certainly if it becomes a free throw shooting contest, the Lancers know the numbers are on their side. Only the first foul there called on Paklova. 46-37, 9 points the difference as Self will try to make number 2. She is good, stretch that lead to 10. Mustangs, 2-2-1 pressure applied. Paklova in behind the second line, gotta watch her on the cross court. Langlois, nice job controlling the tempo here for the Lancers. Vaughn nearly finds a turnover. Paklova at the arc, looking for penetration on Hutzler, can't find it. Clemenson at the arc, nothing brewing. Hutzler doing a great job trying to tip the ball, but a little too much contact on the reach. Taking an advantage there. You could hear Coach Barry in the background disagreeing with that one. However, to no avail. Turn it over to, Lancers will maintain possession off the foul call. Letty will come in to give Hutzler a blow. That is the third foul of the game for Muddy Hutzler. No trouble yet, however, with 8 minutes, 25 seconds left to play in the ball game. You never know what will happen in the later stages. Long rebound there off the miss by Langlois, corralled by Clemenson. Abbott directing traffic. Paklova up high, Clemenson ducks in. Nice job by Letty holding her ground there. And it's Letty and Moss fighting amongst themselves for the rebound. Windsor comes away with it. But terrific perimeter defense by the Mustangs, not allowing the quick three-point shot. Paklova inside to Clemenson. She's been parked in there all day. Ball rotation by the Lancers, and Kovacevic comes up empty, but Paklova there with the rebound. Moss forced a foul, and you can see the advantage that offensive rebounds gives a team when you simply cannot clear your defensive zone, being the Western Mustangs. You end up committing the foul before long as you're just left running out of options. Hutzler will check back into the ball game as the Mustangs will need all 6'2" of her in there tonight if they are to combat this front court. They have done a terrific job thus far tonight in terms of front court presence and scoring in the paint. However, the Windsor Lancers, when they see an opportunity, you know that they have the talent and experience on their roster to take advantage of a player like Muddy Hutzler going to the bench. Quick break here for Clemenson as Angus is back into the game. Williams as well into the game for the Lancers. Paklova good, 2 of 2. Paklova 5 points on the night. Give her 3 rebounds as well. Here's Hutzler, Letty. Vaughn finds herself in the front court, and the Mustangs will pull it out to reset. Self running the show. High screen here by Hutzler with the roll. Self gets it up front iron, no good. Follows, cannot corral the rebound, and the ball will turn over to the Lancers. Offense for defense coming here as Clemenson and Langlois come back into the ball game. See here on the replay, high screen set by Hutzler. Self looking for that opportunity. Paklova gave her up, and as soon as Self saw that, she went straight to the basket as she had a step on Kovacevic, and that will take us into a quick timeout here. Give us a chance to take a look at the stats through 3 quarters and 2.5 minutes of play. And we talked about the three-point shooting of both squads, and certainly it is three-pointers keeping the Mustangs in this game. 3 of 9 on the afternoon. The Windsor Lancers only 3 of 17, and you may see that number start to drop as they might be forced to put up a few more here in the later stages as 47-39. Clock not an enemy yet. Certainly with 7.5 to play, that is a lot of time for the number 2 scoring team in the CIS, ranked number 1 in the coaches' poll. But at some point, if they are unable to get themselves any kind of creation in the paint, as they have been long to do so far tonight, Mustang defense just too solid in the paint tonight. If they can't find the cracks in there, perhaps the attack will have to come from the perimeter. You can see the coaching staff there, Windsor Lancers, devising their plan of attack for this final 7:34. The Western Mustangs certainly know the Lancers are capable of coming back from any deficit as long as clock remains. So I know that Coach Barry in that huddle is preaching ball control and taking care of things defensively. They have the lead. All they have to do is match at worst, point for point, with these Windsor Lancers, and they can come out of this terrific OUA West women's basketball matchup with that victory, that all-important victory. As we mentioned, these two teams tied for first in the West. This game will give one of these two teams the upper hand the rest of the way. And don't forget, of course, that rematch coming on January 19th, 2 weeks from tonight. Here is Abbott now, finds Peklova up high. Clemenson, baseline, turnover, Vaughn sneaking in for the steal. Will be interesting to see over the next few minutes just how the experience of playing in the national championship last year for these Windsor Lancers, as Williams misses the 3. How does the experience of playing on such a large stage translate into performance in these important close games in the OUA West schedule? Timeout called here by the Windsor Lancers. We talked about the importance of this game to that playoff positioning, and we can take a look at those women's basketball standings in the West once again. We do know that the Windsor Lancers, Western Mustangs tied on top with 7 wins apiece, but it is the Brock Badgers perhaps turning some heads as they stand 6-2, good for second place in the West following the OUA interlocking portion of the schedule. The interlocking portion, of course, being that first half of the season, as you heard Coach Campbell allude to it during his interview at half. The OUA West playing all of their crossover games against the OUA East during that first half of the season. The second half reserved for conference play against their own division, their mates in the West. The Badgers with 6 wins, tied for second with Lakehead and Laurier. 6 of those 8 teams will make the playoffs. 1 and 2 get the bye. 3 host 6, 4 host 5. So you know that these two teams here in front of you tonight, they certainly have their eyes set on the 1 and 2 rankings, but they know with the standings packed as tightly as they are that any mid-season swoon could cost them dearly in terms of playoff positioning. Abbott, Kovacevic, Williams, pardon me, that's Langlois, Peklova, and Clemenson out on the court. Langlois cannot find anyone, sees Clemenson in the corner. Turnover once again, Western Mustangs. Here's Molden, finds Vaughn up ahead. Nice job showing patience, willing to use a little clock. Here are the Western Mustangs, as if it's not a wide open layup that they see, they are likely going to be selective in their shots. Hutzler on the dive, terrific block by Clemenson. That is the all-Canadian candidate, Jessica Clemenson, doing a job there defensively. Abbott from the perimeter finds Clemenson on the inside, dish out to Peklova for 3, and she buries the 3 ball. Mustangs happy to see the 6'5" center taking those shots, but if she starts burying them, they might have to think twice. She is now 5 of 13 on the season. Here is Self now working against Kovacevic in that point forward roll. Great screen by Letty. Self elects to lift. No good. Rebound Kovacevic. Lancers starting to wrangle some momentum from these Mustangs. And there's Vaughn getting it right back for the Mustangs. Terrific solo play there by Jenny Vaughn. Here is Self on the wing. Finds Hutzler at the top. Good ball rotation to the floor. General Jenny Vaughn. Abbott wrestling with Hutzler. Hutzler open on the seal. Can't find her. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Self forced the dish to Hutzler. Puts it up. Back iron no good, but rebound to Letty and the Mustangs. traveling violation here called on Letty. And you can see Coach Barry on the sideline imploring his charges that on any extra possession to be very selective with your offensive opportunity, as that gives the Mustangs a chance to eat another 24 seconds of clock. Rather, it is a turnover here as the Lancers have cut this lead to 5. Things getting exciting here. Clemenson on the inside will have to kick it out. Kovacevic lifts for 3. That will catch nothing at all. Air ball out of bounds as you see Hutzler taking control of her young charges out there. She is in her first year with this program, but Muddy Hutzler has national championship experience, MVP of the national championship tournament 2 years ago with the Simon Fraser University Clan, and she certainly knows what it takes to be in the big games, and her teammates rely on that experience flowing through Hutzler to the rest of the team, as this is a young Mustang team. Hutzler, the only player who is better than her 3rd year on the team. That ball off a Lancer leg, hence no over and back violation. Letty forced to carry the ball over half. Nerves getting the better perhaps, and none called for the offensive foul as she put the forearm up. Coach Barry forced to go to self once again, get her back in the game as he needs more ball handlers out there. The pressure proving a little bit too much there perhaps for Caitlin Letty in her 2nd year with this Mustang program. You see, she is the one who does a great job picking it up in the backcourt. But in this situation, you'd love to see her square and find a guard to get that ball to. Lancers recognize it's a forward with the ball in her hands. They trap quickly. 3 ball put up by Abbott, no good. Weak side rebound for Self. And she will calm things down for the Mustangs. I got to tell you, Maya Marie Langlois out on the court for these Windsor Lancers has played this entire 2nd half with 4 fouls. Coach Valet has done a terrific job shuttling her in and out with the young rookie from Windsor, Williams. But there's offensive rebound, Molden, and she does what Barry wants to see, kicks it out to reset the shot clock. And I gotta tell you, just terrific job by Langlois and Williams, both keeping Langlois available in this ball game. Williams providing great minutes. And a push called on Paklova there as the post entry came to Hutzler, Self and Hutzler. Self, of course, transfer from Troy in the NCAA, as you see Valet right there having a talk with Abbott, coming to the bench for a rest. Kovacevic back in. That is 4 fouls now already on Paklova. She experiencing just a little bit of trouble now. We'll see if the Mustangs pick up on that, but the Mustangs, of course, the sort of talent that they do not need to target a single player offensively, as you see Hutzler. Nice step right there to give herself some time. Cannot bear the shot over Clemenson. 5-point lead, things getting very interesting. Coming up on 4 minutes to play. Clemenson, terrific position inside. And a foul called. Looks like that'll go on Self with the contact on the shooter. That will send Clemenson to the line. Letty, 4 fouls, is on the bench. Hutzler has 3. That's the front court foul situation for the Mustangs. For the Lancers, certainly foul trouble, as we know, with Langlois 4 in the ball game. And the one page I'm looking at here says only 2 fouls on Paklova. We had 4 on the board earlier. We'll have to confirm that number to see what the count is on Eva Paklova, the all-star center for these Windsor Lancers. Clemenson gets the second one to drop. Clemenson creating some scoring opportunities for herself here in the 2nd half. 47-44, the score cut, the lead, pardon me, cut down to 3 points. Hutzler in ahead of the pack. Terrific hustling defense there by Jocelyn Larocque, able to knock it away from Hutzler. Foul called on the play will put us into the line, but that is the sort of play of which champions are born. The Lancers refusing to give up on the play, and that's a play that will energize not only those on the floor, but the entire bench as well. The Lancers showing every possession they will play whistle to whistle. And the Windsor Lancers having a substitution corrected here. You saw it on the replay. Just terrific, terrific effort by number 12, Jocelyn Larocque, getting some of her limited action here this evening. Hutzler good on the first, 1 remaining for the 6'2", 50-year center for the Mustangs. 48-44, 4:05 to play. Hutzler off the side iron. Daly able to control the rebound over Prince. She will kick it out, reset in the hands of Jenny Vaughn. Vaughn, post entry for Hutzler. Self will elect to launch, 3-ball, no good. And what a rebound by Hutzler. Terrific effort, but she will be called for the foul as that terrific play that I saw was too aggressive in the eyes of the officials. Let's take another look. 3-pointer launch, and you see Hutzler, nobody putting a body on her, a ball up for grabs. She knocked into Kovacevic pretty hard right there. And I got to tell you, it looked like good hard basketball to me, but of course I might be watching this game through purple lenses. All those watching through the blue and gold lenses of the Windsor Lancers, they will be in complete agreement with the officials on that one.
Kovacevic goes to the line, shooting 2.
Kovacevic at the line now. She has a pair. 4-point lead for the Mustangs. Under 4 minutes to play. What has been a 10-point lead for the Mustangs shrunk to 4. Kovacevic unable to convert the first. This game getting very interesting in the late stages, as one would expect. Number 1 in the country, the Windsor Lancers. Number 5, the Western Mustangs. Mustangs the home court advantage here. However, talent certainly virtually on par between these two programs. Something that couldn't always be said as recently as 8 or 9 years ago. However, both programs at a level right now where they are figuring international ranges week after week, and there is Jack from the left baseline. Big players come to play on the big nights, give her 18 on the evening, 50-45. Both teams well below their scoring averages on the season, but the scoring averages tend to go out the window in a rivalry game like this, as both teams fighting tooth and nail for every inch on the court. There's Daly tipping the ball to Self, able to corral and push the ball up the sideline. Williams doing a great job, the rookie playing big minutes here in the later stages. She and Langlois have been going in and out, offense for defense. Every opportunity Valley gets to make substitutions. Here is Daly working against Kovacevic. Daly, a rookie herself, international experience on her resume. Self, up and down, 20 points, Jackie Self. Unbelievable performance here. Jacqueline Self having herself a terrific ball game. The stat line is as beautiful as ever. You see numbers in every column: rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, you name it, she finds a way to get it done. And certainly the star of the game for these Western Mustangs thus far. Not to be forgotten, of course, Maddie Hutzler, 13 points, and give her 8 rebounds to go with it, having a monster game. Here is Langlois, 3-pointer, 52-48. Mustangs in front, 2.5 to play. Jenny Vaughn now gains the front court. Immense pressure applied by Kovacevic. Wide open, look, Kelly Molden, 3-ball, no good. Self with the rebound. And Barry employing her to reset things, take the ball up high, look for the passing lanes, and control the shot clock. 4-point lead, 2 minutes to play. Molden has herself an attack for the baseline. Self gets the ball up. No good, too strong on the attempt. The legs getting tired for these Mustangs. They've been out there for long shifts. There's Clemenson. She's good from the left side on the turnover. 52 for the Mustangs. 50 for the Lancers. Minute 55 to go. Substitutions coming in here both ways. And Coach Steph Barry and the Western Mustangs, they are going to call a timeout here, get themselves organized for the final 2 minutes, which are sure to be some of the finest this season in CIS women's basketball. I'll tell you, the turnover-filled ball game that was through the opening stages way back in the first quarter has given way to some excellent basketball, as neither team is giving the other an inch out here on the court. It has been just an outstanding battle between two of the best programs around. And speaking of some of the best, you see on the court there the cheerleaders of the Western Mustangs, some of the best in the country. Terrific camera work here provided by our Mustangs crew. Hope we don't have anybody on the cell phones to the Lancers coaching staff, but just a fantastic look as we get inside the Mustang huddle. Here you see Coach Barry working something out for his players, trying to get good scoring opportunities. The Mustangs certainly have to be selective right now with their shot attempts. They want the first good open look they can find. They do not need to rush. They are still the leaders in this ball game. They cannot forget that, but the Windsor Lancers Cannot tell you how impressive it is seeing this team dig themselves out of what was a huge hole and what really has not been a fine offensive performance overall. Defense and turnovers have taken them this far. Turnovers on the part of the Mustangs and the Lancers, certainly a huge part of the story. 1 minute, 55 seconds, 2 points the difference. Buckle yourselves in, fans, as you're in for a dandy. It will be on the court. Daly, Vaughn, Hutzler, Molden, and Self for the Western Mustangs. Kovacevic, Peklova, Clemenson, Langlois, and Abbott for the Lancers. Here is Daly looking for help. Cannot find anybody. 18 seconds on the shot clock. Self pounding the floorboards. She has Peklova in front of her. Stutter step left side, step back, up and down. Put the ball in the hands of Jackie Self. She can carve a path for you. What a ball game for Self. Peklova baseline, can't find the opening. Langlois at the elbow, up and no good. Daly with the rebound, and she will control the tempo here for the Mustangs. Self with the ball now. She will settle things down in the front court, take some off the clock, coming up on 1 minute, 15 seconds, 4 points the difference. Mustangs in front. Kovacevic puts the hands on her, and as soon as she does, the whistle is blown. Certainly a time of the game now where possessions are valued. Trying to extend the game perhaps are the Windsor Lancers right now, putting the Mustangs to the line somewhere where they know the Mustangs have struggled this year. A free throw battle certainly goes to the advantage of the Windsor Lancers. We've talked about the stats enough tonight, but 82% for the Lancers from the line this season. Only 62 for the Mustangs, but as we've said, stats go out the window in a game like this. The Mustangs tonight, they are pretty close, 65% on the evening. Windsor Lancers thus far in the ball game are shooting a similar 65%. Self trying to convert the second one, up and down. Still a two-possession ball game. 5 points the difference. Clock running in 1 minute and 9 seconds. Langlois looking for an opening. Williams, speedy defender out there for the Mustangs. Self one-on-one with Peklova. Double comes. Langlois. Ball rotation. Abbott has a look at the arch. Passes up. Penetration up and down. One possession ball game. Less than a minute to play. Here is Vaughn, left side. She will wait for reinforcements. Ball into the hands of Hutzler. Vaughn, Self, Hutzler, Molden, and Williams on the court. There is Hutzler, big screen up top for Abbott. Vaughn finds Molden. Molden, penetration, middle 5 on the shot clock. Vaughn, ball in the corner, 2 seconds. Mustangs have to get a shot up. They do, no good. Rebound controlled by Peklova, but the whistle will go. Valet disappointed. There was clear control by the Lancers, but the referees killed the play. Will force an inbound here and give the Mustangs a chance to set their defense. A situation like that, if you're the coach of the rebounding team, you're hoping that the referees allow the play to go, as your team has clearly established control and gives you a chance to run a breakout opportunity. Unfortunately for the Lancers, and fortunately if you're a Mustang fan, the whistle goes, chance to set the defense. Now the Mustangs left scrambling a little bit on defense. Late switch to man-to-man defense here. Abbott with an open look for 3, no good. Hutzler rebound. Here is Vaughn controlling in the backcourt. Lancers will be forced to foul. Less than 20 seconds to play. Here we are, 14 on the clock. Vaughn playing a little keep away with Williams. Clock running down. One possession game. And finally the foul committed. Not sure what took so long for those Windsor Lancers to get themselves on the ball as they lost a possession there, taking a good 6 or 7 seconds to recognize they had foul. And you see here the officials having a quiet word at the sideline. Head coach Chantal Valet making sure that she has an opinion lodged about what she sees out there. One possession ball game, 9 seconds on the clock. Rebecca Moss at the free throw line. Moss, one of the best three-point shooters in the country this year. She is good on the first of 2, make it a 2-possession game, and all but nailing the coffin shut on the comeback by the Windsor Lancers. Moss, as we say, nearly 50% from the field, over 50% from the field, nearly 50% from the free throw line, but not getting to the free throw line very often. Knows her third and fourth shots from the free throw line this season. Good on both when the pressure is on. 5-point game, 2 possessions for these Mustangs, 9 seconds left, and it'll take something miraculous for the Windsor Lancers to come back and get themselves ahead in this ball game. As I got to tell you, watching that last series of defense there for the Lancers, cannot believe a foul was not committed much sooner, as they lost precious seconds off the clock, seconds they could not afford to lose. As they knew they were going to foul, you had to assume this was going to become that 2-possession game. And now I just don't know that 9 seconds is enough when you consider you have to get your quick shot attempt. Now they do get to inbound the ball at half court, probably drawing something up for a quick 2-point play here, as that is the easier, but they will take the first look they get. You hope to bury it, immediately foul, and get yourself one more crack at it from the half-court stripe. But I got to tell you, that's a lot to ask in 9 seconds of game time. If the score holds, it will be a huge victory for the Western Mustangs, as they will take down the #1 nationally ranked Windsor Lancers for only the 2nd time this season. But of course, as we've said, the rematch is a-coming, folks. It will happen 2 weeks from tonight in Windsor. And certainly the Lancers will have that date circled. Yes, each team has a couple of games between now and then. However, none will loom larger than that rematch of the Titans in OUA women's basketball. Abbott now must inbound from the backcourt. She will look to push it as deep as fast as she can. Here's Langlois pushing the action. Clock ticking, 5 seconds. Langlois gets the penetration, gets the hoop. Less than a second left though. Simply inbound. The game is done. The Western Mustangs have taken down the #1 nationally ranked Windsor Lancers.
Western U! We are! Western U! We are! Western U!
The Western Mustangs 57-52. A terrific show here from Alumni Hall in London, Ontario. But guess what? More great basketball action coming your way. The men's teams set to tip things off shortly. It'll be the #8 nationally ranked Windsor Lancer men's squad against the Western Mustang men's team. Don't go away. We will have interviews and more coming up between the ball games. And of course, in just a few minutes' time, it will be more great Mustang basketball action. So come on back and join us in just a few minutes. Western wins 57-54 right here on Rogers TV. Welcome back to Mustangs at the Half. Kevin Gordon joined here at the half by the manager of intercollegiate athletics here at the University of Western Ontario, Chuck Matthews, back to join us on the broadcast. Chuck, thanks so much for coming back to sit and visit.
Always good to be back.
And a happy New Year's to you. I know it's a New Year's that is going to be action-packed for these Western Mustangs, not only the basketball team, but certainly we've got terrific hockey, volleyball, ringette, you name it, it's all on tap for the second half. But as you sit and reflect on the year that was, the first half of the year 2010, what stands out from that first half of the Mustangs year?
Well, you can't overlook the fantastic run that we had in men's football, getting the Yates Cup, and then, just a tough loss against Laval. That was a phenomenal sporting event, and we're proud of the guys and proud of where I think they're going to be going in the years ahead as well. Not that they haven't been there in the past, but they just keep it coming, and that's definitely a highlight. I think men's golf, the other team that won the OUA championship this year, a great comeback for them because they got notched out just by a little bit last year. And it was good to see for the guys. So good on that. And a string of teams that came second in the OUA. And, I'm proud of men's soccer, how well they played at the CIS championship. Rock's got a pretty young crew, so they're going to be poised for some good things happening next year as well. So we're looking golden, a good fall. The winter term is going to fly by us. There's going to be so many exciting games going on, both in this gym, Thompson Arena, you name it, we're going to have some good things happening.
Well, I know that certainly one of the teams you mentioned there, men's football, of course, perhaps a few Londoners' hearts skipped a beat today when the news was released that Saskatchewan, the CFL, had hired their own Greg Marshall. Yes. Thankfully not thankfully not the Mustangs' Greg Marshall away, but new head coach, former coordinator defensively for the Tiger Cats, joining that staff. Our Greg Marshall back for another season behind the helm, of course, fully expected to lead the football team to glory once again. But you talk about golden, and certainly golden a loaded word given the other sporting events happening in the world tonight. I know that everybody's probably flipping back and forth between other channels.
Hold on, what's the score?
Up.
What's the score right now?
I'm sure that there's an update out there somewhere, but we're not going to spoil anything for anybody that might have it PVR'd at home and what have you. We'll let you guys tune in and find out on your own. We talked during our broadcast, Chuck, something that I know has played a role in the success you talked about in the first half of these Mustangs, but in recent years, the development of scholarships here in the OUA and the ability to give financial assistance on an athletic basis, partially academic as well, to some of our student athletes, really closed the gap significantly in some of the sports. We talked about the gap being closed in women's basketball. The fact that we have in Ontario 2 teams inside the top 5 of the CIS, and I can't remember the time since probably the mid-'80s with those Laurentian and Toronto programs since that's happened. What role has financial assistance for athletics played in leveling the playing field nationally for the Western Mustangs and perhaps the rest of the OUA?
Well, I think it's important that you're putting forward to the kids that are gifted an opportunity for some financial support to come to any university in the OUA or in the CIS. I think it's an important step. The financial awards obviously depend on support and the I'll call it the money in the bank, and we need to work at that, and we are, and we hope that we'll continue to do better at it. So there are some kids that are definitely on the scholarship opportunity with us, and we hope that more will be there. It certainly provides competitive opportunities for some teams where, when they get the crackerjack athlete and the academic involved with their program, it bodes well for the future for the program.
You talk about the academic side of things. I know you were sitting up enjoying the women's basketball game there with Jim Weiss, Dean of Faculty of Health Sciences here at Western, former Windsorite himself, having spent some time with the Lancers. I can imagine that a few conversations were had with him about the divided loyalties that might creep up at times in a game such as this.
Yeah, I had to make sure that he wasn't wearing anything that resembled the colors of Windsor, which he was true to the purple tonight, and he's definitely just an avid supporter for the athletics program, a great dean for the Faculty of Health Sciences, and just a good fan who is out at many games. So whether it's basketball or whether it's hockey, you're going to see him. You're going to see him at volleyball. You're going to see him at football. A variety of elements for us. So it's good to have him behind us as a supporter. And from the academic front, it's good to know that we're delivering on that front with a quality academic student athlete who is coming to this university, and know that we've got a dean who is very supportive of that adventure.
And you talk about the support you get from Dean Weiss, and it ties in nicely with the idea of support for the financial awards that need to be offered to secure the top talent athletically in the country. I know that our two primary alumni associations here for the athletic department, the W Club with the men and the Women's Athletic Alumni Association for the women, certainly have played a very large role in helping to build that pot and to certainly support these Mustangs throughout the year. Perhaps if you could talk a little bit about the impact that two such strong alumni associations, the role that they have here with the current Mustang programs.
Yeah, no question that, you have to have that structure behind it where you've got alumni who want to be in there and help in the trenches in terms of going out and seeking the key support people out in the community to be on board. You need other bodies other than just your department, and so both the WA and the W Club, great people, and they're helping us. We're trying to do as best as we can within the department to make use of the Alumni Development Office and what they can do to contribute to our program. We have an Adopt a Mustang program that really caught wind this year and got really going with the fact that we had the Alumni Development Office involved with us, and so therefore the outreach that we have on that particular initiative is certainly growing, and goes well when you have a partnership with other departments who understand our needs and are there to assist us.
Well, certainly it's always a great pleasure talking to you. I don't want to take you away from all the fun and activities that you have to take part in here tonight at the ball game, but I do want to ask you one more question, Chuck. It is the New Year's. Any New Year's resolutions that either for yourself or for the department that you care to share and let our fans in on?
New Year's resolutions, I don't really buy into too many. I just kind of ride the wave and hope that everything continues to go well on as many fronts as possible. I will point out that one of the interesting things coming up for us is just to watch where our women's basketball team is going. New format in terms of CIS championship with the regional. Certainly in the Ontario West Division, it's going to be a dogfight in terms of Windsor and us, and who's going to get the chance to perhaps be in position to host that West Division Final Four. We're sure hoping it's going to be here. But that's going to be exciting, and then depending on what happens in the OUA, then you got a shot at perhaps getting into that regional final, maybe being a host in the regional final, which again could come this way. So they're exciting to watch, and we're proud and excited to be in a position to maybe host that. The other one is men's volleyball. I guess if I have a New Year's wish, I'm hoping that they're going to go well. And, they got a key match coming up on the 22nd here when they host Queens. So that one will be for the bragging rights, I would think. And if all goes well, they should be hopefully the #1 seed in the OUA. And that means that we get to host a Final Four in that. So if men's volleyball does what they're supposed to do, if women's basketball does the same thing, we got a weekend full of activity here, which will include probably a Friday, Saturday volleyball Final Four with a Saturday, Sunday women's basketball Final Four on the same weekend. So that's exciting. And I think we might even have men's hockey somewhere in the mix on that with their playoff round. So New Year's resolution, looking forward to the successes that those programs will develop and for our hosting opportunities there.
Well, it's certainly Rogers TV is happy to partner with you in many of those events, and that game you mentioned on the 22nd, I'm very excited that I'll be here on the sideline bringing that action to you. Be sure to check your local listings, fans. But, Chuck, thank you so much for joining us. As always, a great pleasure chatting with you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
We're going to take a quick break, but come on back and join us for more Mustangs at the Half when we return right here on Rogers TV.